Service Nation, good to be with you back today. For those of you that have been keeping track, we stopped doing daily. That was just for the first month, and we're now doing every Tuesday and Thursday. We are live on Facebook, and we're releasing those as podcasts and YouTube videos. So you'll be getting 2 a week, hopefully for the indefinite future, as opposed to 5, just because try to kick it off. Anyway, today we are here. If you are one of the people that wants the magic lead genie, maybe you've fallen for somebody or some company or many companies telling you, just give us money, fax in your order for leads, we'll send over the leads for you, and you can just grow your business indefinitely. I know we kind of want that in the back of our heads, and we kind of fall for it when, Home Advisor or Bark or Google or YouTube or whoever, right? There's a lot of people, just give us money, everything will work out. The problem is that ends up with us wasting so much money on advertising. It really never even had a chance to work. But the flip side is if we don't invest in advertising, we have no chance of scaling. So we're kind of in this stuck spot of if I don't invest in advertising, I can't really grow at the speed I know I could grow. But a lot of times I invest in advertising and it doesn't work, or I don't get my money back, or I'm not even sure if I got my money back. So we do nothing, which sucks. So let's jump in and figure out how to solve that for you guys forever. And the big thing is, believe it or not, most of the stuff, we've got to change our beliefs first, and then what to do is fairly easy. So this belief that if I just find the right advertising thing, because it's probably one of the most often questions I get asked is, should I invest in or should I advertise on X, right? Which kind of presupposes that if that's the only information I get, there's really a presupposition that advertising thing is right or wrong, right? Should I advertise on Facebook? Like, there's just a universal answer that if I give money to Facebook, then I'll make money, and if I don't, I won't, and the yellow pages are bad, and Facebook's good, and Google's bad, and direct mail's good, or whatever the case may be. But the problem is, it's a lot more nuanced conversation than that. So there's no real intelligent answer to give, should I advertise on X, right? And that presupposes this belief that if I just find the magic advertising solution, then I can grow my business as fast as I want. The problem is there are advertisers out there that know that we feel this way, so they kind of play to that and go, hey, if you just give us money, we'll grow forever. And then we give them money, we don't grow forever. So we've got to change our belief that the solution to advertising is outside of us. If I just give someone outside my company enough money, the right person, the right amount of money, they'll magically bring me all the leads I want. As long as we have that belief, we are going to struggle and struggle mightily. Okay, the next is we kind of move to when we don't have, so the reality is no advertising is going to work if you don't understand who your client is, what they want, and you're not able to communicate it. That's really the point. So when it comes to advertising, if people say, I've heard Facebook ads are hot, should I be doing Facebook ads? And we spend, I don't know, 20 grand a month on Facebook ads at this point, but plenty. So we do them. So and people are like, why wouldn't you recommend me? Because it's not about the Facebook ads. The reason our Facebook ads are effective is because we're able to communicate to our clients. I understand what your guys' pain is. I'm able to communicate it to you in such a way like, holy crap, that guy can help me fix it. So once you know who your client is, you know what their pain is, you know how to communicate with them, that pain, as long as you put the ads somewhere they are, it will be effective. The problem is if you don't understand their pain, and you don't understand how to communicate that pain to them, they don't believe that you can solve it. It doesn't matter where you put the ad, it's not going to work. So there's really the two pieces. You have to kind of have the right message, which is super important. You have to have the right medium, which is where your clients go, right? If I do skywriting for my clients, but they never go outside, that's not going to work, right? So yeah, and then we need the right offer. So, all right. The next belief that we've got to kill up is you've got to beat the streets and chase and compete with low ballers and kind of like convince people to buy crap from you. The reality is, and this is probably the most frustrating thing that people spend their time on, owners of service companies spend their time on, is this, I'm going to try and, I got a lead, somebody called in, or I found a lead, somehow I got a lead. And because I don't get that many leads, I'm just going to chase and call. And I gave a bid 3 weeks ago, and I've called them 7 times. They won't return my call. What do I do? That's another question I get. The answer is stop trying to convince someone that's not interested to be interested and spend all of your time finding people that are interested, right? So we've got to change our mindset from, I've got to work the leads that I have better. And maybe you do, but typically most of the people I talk to have less than 10 leads per month, right? And maybe they do need to work those better, but more realistically, we get, I think, 300, give or take, requests for appointments every month. And could we work those leads or appointments better? Probably. But if someone's not interested, we just go on to the next one and make sure we spend all of our time helping the people that are really committed for our help, not trying to wring out people that aren't interested, right? So typically, if you've got less than 10 leads per month, maybe you could or should work your leads better, but the reality is you probably need more leads, right? So you've got to kill this belief that if I got to beat the streets, I got to chase, I got to compete with low ballers, I got to whatever. People are like, oh, I had a guy that I gave a bid and someone else was half as much, and I'm spend zero time with that guy. Just give more bids, find more people, find the right people, right? The right people are going to know if I got 4 bids and they're 2,800, 3,000, 2,900, and 500. The 500 guy's full of crap, right? So as opposed to trying to convince that guy, who, if he doesn't get that, we're never going to convince him, right? Let's just find someone that wants help. So move from the belief that if I just found the right advertising, everything will be okay. Not true. Move from if I just beat the streets and beg and chase, that'll work, to I'm going to spend all my time finding people that need what I want and then helping them get it, right? So much more time getting more leads than trying to squeeze all the life out of the leads that we have that probably aren't very good. The next one is, this is a big one. So many people kind of put marketing and advertising and client attraction is this bastard redheaded child, right? They're like stepchild. Like when I was a kid, I'm old, so you say, oh, you treat that guy like a redheaded stepchild. We treat getting leads and marketing like that, and we do one of two things. We do it all ourselves, which is if we're natural salespeople, we're out there talking and hustling and going to chamber meetings and do all sort of stuff, which is fine, that can work, but it's not scalable. Then when you stop working, you stop getting paid, and then you stop growing. Or we just say, well, I get everything from repeat and referrals, which is great. Repeat and referrals are great, but typically that translates, I do nothing, and the only thing that comes in with my nothing is repeat and referrals. That's the killer, right? So we've got to move from, I'm in the cleaning business and I'm kind of above marketing or client attraction, to I'm in the client attraction business and I happen to clean for those clients. Really important that we move from being in the cleaning business, because no offense, guys, gals, or the service business, whatever service that we're in, HVAC, landscaping, doesn't matter. If you're in that business, there's just only so much you can make, right? A landscaper can only make X amount an hour, even on the higher end, like an HVAC guy or more talented guy that's, whatever, a tradesman might only make 50, 60 bucks an hour, right? So there's a cap on what you can make if you're in the service business. But when you're in the client attraction business, you can make as much as you want. So you've got to move from feeling that you are in the service business to you are in the client attraction business for whatever service that you provide. That mind shift will be a big difference. When you get the right customers to come and ask you for help, that's a skill that you can kind of have forever. So we've got to make sure, once we've got that new belief, you got to kind of follow that up with understanding, because you're in the marketing business, you have to have a deeper understanding of how marketing works. And most people that I've met in the service business have a superficial understanding. That superficial understanding is, we use Facebook ads because that's kind of the hot thing now. And I love Facebook ads. Like I said, we spend money on Facebook, so don't hear me saying you shouldn't. But the problem is, people say, I spent Facebook, Facebook ads are a scam. They don't work. And I go, okay, tell me more. And what they usually go is, I spent, $500 on Facebook ads and I didn't get anything. Right. And I go, okay, tell me more. Right. We still haven't gotten anywhere. So typically what that meant is they ran a Facebook ad to a bad audience, right? We talked about, you have to know who your people are and where they are. So if that Facebook ad shows the people that aren't your perfect prospect, it's not going to work. And if you don't know who your perfect prospect is, no advertising is going to work. So that's the first problem I have. Second, I go, where did you send them? To my homepage, to my website. But your website's just a bunch of junk about you. It doesn't speak to your customer's pain at all. There's no call to action other than sign up, call now for a free estimate, which is, that'd be like walking into a clothes store as opposed to going, hey, have you been here before? What are you looking for? What brought you in today? Going, do you want to buy that sweater? And the guy going, well, no, I just got here. Okay, goodbye. Right, that's what we do. Or even worse, the salesperson going up and going, hey, I'm Steve. I've been working here for 6 years, and my mom thinks I'm great. And we've been in business for this long. And here's how great we are. We are a member of the Chamber of Commerce. And would you like a free estimate now on that? No one wants that, right? You've got to give value first. So oftentimes we take a piece of marketing, we do it poorly, we don't know how to execute, it's not to the right people, it's not on the medium that they go on, and the messaging's no good. And then we say that marketing doesn't work. And maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but we'll never know until we give until we put a compelling message in front of our right people with the right offer. Okay. So again, the reality is it's much more about you understanding who your client is, where they go to solve their problem, what their problem is, and your ability to communicate it, than it is about a specific lead source. And the problem is we want to believe it's about a specific lead source because we can just easily solve that problem. If I just give HomeAdvisor enough money or Yelp or whoever, the flavor of the day is, then my lead problems will be solved. We want to believe that, and it's tough because we want to believe it, and the guys selling marketing services want us to believe it. So we kind of like believe in this lie, but then we get burned and our company never grows, right? So the reality is we need to understand this is something that we can do, and it's harder than just writing a check to someone else, but it's not that complex. It's just really understanding at a deep level who your customer is, what their pain is, and then going out of your way to solve it. It's really that, it's not easy, but it's that simple. So, yeah, the reality is and here's another thing we'll think of, like, well, you don't understand, all my customers are broke. That's not your customer's fault. That's your fault, right? Whatever message or lack of message that you're putting out into the world is attracting whoever shows up at your door. I guarantee you, if I talk to the guy at the Mercedes AMG dealership, he wouldn't say all my customers are broke, right? Because they built a brand that attracts the right people. Now, if I went to Walmart, they might complain that a lot of their customers, they still get rich people, believe it or not, but they might complain a lot of their customers are broke. Or not complain, just understand that's the reality. But you understand that has a lot to do with how they position themselves. So once you understand you're in the business of client attraction, not in the business of service, you've got to understand that the message that you put out, intentionally and unintentionally, right? Who you hire, how they dress, what your website looks like, how we answer the phone, what your vehicles look like, how your services and processes are, all of that kind of dictates the perception of who comes to your place, right? So you do have every single person that's ever called you or ever will call you is a result of something that you did, which is scary if you don't want to take responsibility. But hopeless. And if you do want to take responsibility, it's a little bit like, oh, I got to look in the mirror and go, whatever result I'm getting, if it's not a result I want, it's my fault. But the good news is, if I'm not getting the result that I want and it's my fault, that means I can fix it, right? As soon as we go, it's not our fault, everyone sucks, everyone's broke. The Mercedes people just keep on selling very expensive profit for lots of margin, and you'll just go broke. As soon as you decide, I just have to decide that I'm going to put my message out to the world like Mercedes, you can start getting similar results to what they're getting. So the reality is, okay, I'm trying to make sure I don't get anything. So, yeah, that's great. So let me just sum up what we said because we're going over a lot. First, we got to kill the belief that if I just had the right advertising, I'd be rich. The reality is it's not about who does the advertising. It's about understanding who your client is, what their pain is, where they go to solve it. Second, you feel the disbelief that you've got to beat the streets and kind of chase people. And the reality is you want to set up systems that bring the right people to you and then spend all your time helping them, not kind of beating the street, so to speak. The next thing we went over is we're not in the cleaning or service business. We are in the business of attracting clients and leads to our company. So I keep saying cleaning. I've been serving, we have a company called Grow My Cleaning Company. I've been serving owners of cleaning companies for years. We're just now starting to help owners of service companies. So you have to forgive me if I say the wrong thing sometimes. The next thing is we've got this, belief that, I got screwed by Facebook or direct mail. It didn't work. The reality is you either put a message that wasn't compelling, your people weren't at that lead source, or you didn't have a good call to action or offer that was compelling to them. That's it. So we're going to take kind of responsibility for how that works. The next thing is I have no responsibility over who calls me. My people are just broke or stupid or lazy or whatever. The reality is the people that you've been attracting may be those things, but that's just not the world at large. That's who you've been attracting. So we've got to own the fact that it's what we do and the message that we put out, not just the world that we can't affect. Okay, the next thing, we kind of touched on this, but I want to hit it a little harder. We've got this belief that you can really grow by word of mouth, right? Which couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, again, word of mouth is probably one of the better ways to grow. The problem is it's not scalable and we can't control it. We can create systems to increase our word of mouth and make it go better, but you're never going to scale. You never talk to a $100 million company or even a $10 million company. I'm sure there's an example out there, but it's very, very rare where it's like, yeah, just grew word of mouth. That's it. And even if there is an example of someone that thinks they grew word of mouth, I promise there were other things that they did that got that word out there. So word of mouth's great, but just don't use it as an excuse to go, I don't really do any marketing. So just because I do nothing, and that means the only people that show up are word of mouth, technically you could say, I've grown my company completely word of mouth. And if you've got the company size that you want, God bless, keep going. But more often than not, I've never met someone that said I've grown completely word of mouth, and they said, and I'm the size that I want to be, right? So if it's not working, don't keep doing it and expect different results. Here's another one that'll absolutely kill you. This is a great one to kind of sneak in because I'll tell you. you're thinking what your competitors are doing will work for you. That is a killer. So many people look and go, what's my competitor charging? I'll charge that. Math is math. The realities of the business and your profit margins are what they are, whether your competitors are smart or stupid. The same thing goes with marketing. If you see a competitor that's successful doing a Facebook ad or doing direct mail or doing some sort of mailer, so many times we assume he or she or they are doing that and they're successful, therefore I will do it, or that's what made them successful. Couldn't be, and maybe that's the case, but you might as well, it's just luck, right? It is very possible. It is oftentimes we'll compare ourselves with someone that's been in business for 30 years in our area and they've got, they're 10 times our size and more. And again, I coach these guys. I coach everyone from the beginning all the way up to large companies. And the reality is oftentimes they're succeeding in spite of what they're doing. So they might have an ad that they're big enough, they can run this terrible ad that's not getting any results and not go out of business. And then you knock off that ad and go, that ad is what they're doing. So unless and until you know, they're getting the success that you want. Oftentimes it's another thing. They might be a big company and they might have no profit. Or there might be, it might be a rich family and the kids run it and they're just pumping money in it to keep him busy, right? Until we know the data in terms of are they getting the results that you want? And when I say getting, I mean now. So if they're a $10 million company, you're a $1 million company, you wouldn't go, well, I want to be a $10 million company if they're getting the results that I want. If they've been the $10 million company for the last 5 years, right, they're not getting the results that you want. Their growth is zero. Is that what you want? You wanted to find out what they did 5 years ago that grew them from 5 million to 10 million. And that's that. Second, so first, are they actually getting the results that I want right now? Not are they where I want to be? That's different. Are they getting the results that I want? Two, is this thing that I'm checking or wanting to duplicate, is this the reason they're getting the results? A lot of times we'll be like, oh, this guy's website looks like that. It's super professional, so I'm going to make it boring. So I'm going to make mine professional and boring. The problem is they are succeeding in spite of their website, not because of it, and yet we knock off the thing that they're doing. So really important that I don't even look at what my competitors are doing. I know it works. I know what you guys want. I just look to serve owners of service company at a very high level, and I know what my value is. I don't worry about any other competitors. That's really what I coach you guys to do, is educate yourself on what you need, what your client needs, and be the best in the world at serving them, and don't care what your competitors are doing. Another one that will eat your lunch. This is kind of a variation of my larger competitors doing this. Trust me, it's not working for me either. I've got to get my name out there. I hear that all the time. Makes me crazy. The realities of the situation, especially at our size, we're not Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola needs to get its name out there. Nike needs to get its name out there. Our little service company does not need to get its name on there, right? When we are the size that we are, anything sub, 30, 40 million, we need trackable results, right? Branding or getting your name out there, getting kind of name awareness or brand awareness, that's fine. That's bonus, but we don't pay for it. We pay it for leads that turn into money, right? So really important as we're small. We don't just, because again, that's what we'll do. We'll waste money advertising doesn't work, and then we'll justify it by going, well, I got my name out there. No, it's the opposite. We only pay for advertising that gets us a positive return on our investment. And if we get branding or name recognition on top of that, great, that's a bonus, but we don't pay for that. All right, so I know we've went through a lot in a very short amount of time, but I've done this for 25 years. I've done this well, and I've done it poorly, and I know how painful and frustrating it is to not be able to get the clients that you need at a profitable price. And I know how freeing and empowering it is when you can get clients and you can just focus on building a team and culture and all the other stuff because you've got clients coming in, right? So the good news is once you get this done, you can grow as fast as you can manage the growth. Once you get this customer client attraction thing humming and you've got more clients coming in than you can handle, so many good things happen. You grow fast. There's money all over the place. You can be particular about the clients that you do. You can charge more. You can charge in advance. You can just be particular about how you want to run your business and make it fit the way you want, because you really never have to worry about money again. Once you figure out how to attract clients for your company, you can do it for any other company. You can do it for your client, your company, and holy crap, I've sold a couple 7-figure deals. Being able to have a company like, here's how you grow as fast as you want, that is just, people will line up to throw money at you for that kind of a skill. So if this has been helpful for you, subscribe, rate, review. Let me know on the show that you're digging it. If you are really digging it, want more help, right now we don't have anything to sell. We're just kind of launching this. trying to give a lot of value to the community, trying to understand your pain better, and then at some point we'll come out with a product to try and help you. At this point, we don't have it. We just have free stuff. If you want all of our free stuff, go to growmyservicecompany.com. Everything I know in the last 20 years on how to grow a business. If you really are digging this and want more of kind of what we did and how to build your company, just direct message me on Instagram. It's Instagram.com/growmyservicecompany. Just direct message me and be like, hey, I subscribed, or I rated, or I referred a friend, or I reviewed, and I'll get you a copy of my book, I'm a Freaking Genius. Why is this business so hard? I wrote it right after I sold my last brick and mortar business. It's everything, 20 years of figuring this crap out, rolled into one fancy book. And it's a ton of fun to read, by the way. It's a lot even more fun than the podcast. So growmyservicecompany.com is where you get all the free stuff that we offer. Direct message me on Insta and say, hey, let me know you subscribed or rated, reviewed, or referred a friend. I'll get you a copy of my book. And looking forward to, and reach out. We've got, when you go to growmyservicecompany.com, we've got a Facebook group. Engage in there. Let us know what's shaking, how we can serve you. Talk soon.